Right. So we're trying to expand the metaverse. We've got we've got the pictures.
Yes.
Got the pictures.
Yes.
We've got all the information of people.
Yes, all of the statuses,
Yes,
the posts, and the memories and whatnot.
Yes, we managed to get them to sign it all away to us, and we own all of it, and we're perfectly entitled to sell as much as we want and use it to manipulate governments and elections and all sorts of things. We're ready, but this TikTok.
Oh, yes.
Yes, a bit concerned. You know, they've got into the video market, and
Indeed.
And I remember there was all that stuff where we said we were doing a lot of video, and
we were, and that stuff came out, but now we're doing it again in short video.
Yes, we were. Or wink.
Oh, yes.
We definitely didn't overinflate that in any way, causing all sorts of
that's what the thing I was alluding to was, indeed.
Yeah, we definitely didn't do anything that, and anyone who says otherwise is going to hear from my liars.
But, yes, I see we've been trying to do the short form. What do we call them?
We were going to call them reels, because like a reel-to-reel projector, which I think is, just right up there in the zeitgeist.
A reel-to-reel projector is definitely a modern reference point, and also, makes sense for short-form video.
Indeed.
That's what I think of when I think of reels. I think of very short reels.
Well, it was that or a wax cylinder, I suppose.
I suppose.
Which again, right there in the zeitgeist, everyone understands that. But
well, look, I've not looked at the metrics. How are they doing? Like we're a huge company. Surely our not TikToks should be doing just as well as TikToks.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, we're doing everything there. In fact, we've got this whole feature where it will play the first couple of seconds on that boomerang thing. Remember boomerang? That was the thing. The video sort of plays forward and backwards a little bit. That was very clever, we thought. So we've done that, and it plays a little bit at the beginning, and then. So we've noticed we've got a lot of videos of like making things.
Well, yes.
Or it looks like something's going to be made, and then they don't actually make anything. It just sort of talks about nothing, really. We've noticed there's been an uptick in videos that are literally just the same boomerang video in the 2-second highlight. So when you click on it, you're just watching 2 seconds over and over again, back
Is that
and
not
forth.
what people want?
That doesn't seem to be very popular. There's lots of videos that are apparently also on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, so... but we are trying to incentivize them to make exclusive content for this.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Also, those like craft videos that don't really go anywhere and clearly aren't the thing that they say they are.
Oh.
Yes. But I say we must be take a huge dent out of TikTok by now. We seem to have fully grasped everything about it.
I'm sure if we just nudge the numbers in a certain direction, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Nudging. Oh, I like a good nudging the numbers.
Indeed, a thing we've never done with video before.
Oh, no, definitely, never. No. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jade Harris Magnet Dale. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where two queer trans women have a bit of a catch-up about our weeks. We do silly voices and skits and stuff, and we're married and we have a catch-up and we just try and make each other have a little giggle.
Oh, little cat.
Yeah, we do.
She's here on my
Smudge is
laps.
hanging out with us while we record today. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I'm a sleepy little bean.
I am also a sleepy little bean. I'm very full of pizza.
You are very full of pizza.
A whole pizza now. It's not usual that I sit down after a meal and go, I can feel that I've eaten exactly the amount that meal is. I can feel that I've eaten exactly a whole pizza.
It was a good pizza, though.
Pizza.
Nom nom, tasty pizza.
Nom nom, tasty pizza. Well, we've been doing stuff in the week this week. And
There was some pizza.
There was some pizza. One of the things we've done this week is we played stuff. What have you played this week?
I think we should just talk about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It seems to be the thing that's taken over a lot of our time recently, and I
mean,
can't imagine why that
I think
would be.
we both spent most of this weekend replaying Breath of the Wild, like, separately but in each other's company.
Yes.
So I think we're both at about the same sort of point in Breath of the Wild-ish, which is we've done all 120 shrines.
Yep.
We've done the 4 divine beasts.
Yep.
We've done the DLC stuff of going through the Champion's Ballad
Yep.
and beating the boss at the end of that.
Yep.
And its sort of extra dungeon.
Done the Master Sword quest.
We've both technically completed the Master Sword quest through the same method.
Yep.
We both learnt to jump through walls, and that was
yes.
fun. And we're both kind of just meandering upgrading armor at the moment.
Yeah, kind of.
Sort
I
of.
wanted very specifically to try and upgrade the Garb of the Wild.
Yes, the armor set you get when you've done your full 120 shrines.
Yes. You're given like a nice green tunic and the hat and the leggies in the traditional Link styly. Because this was like the first game that's not had that as the default.
Yeah. So I've been doing similarly, but I haven't. Weirdly, I didn't go for the Garb of the Wild set because I'm not a big fan of the shorts. I was like, I want trousers, and I was like, I want to do. I kind of agree with you. I want to do a like Link outfit set that's upgraded before
Yes.
I go. So I've gone like partially. I think I went with the Garb of the Wild headwear,
Right.
but I went with the Twilight Princess like tunic and legs.
Okay.
Just because I like that tunic design and it's a sort of full leg rather than shorts design. But I've similarly been going like, let's get a good Link looking build ready.
Yeah.
I've not gone and fought Ganon yet.
Yeah, I've done Ganon. Did
Yeah,
that.
I almost did it on stream.
Surprisingly quick.
Yeah, I almost did it on stream the other night, and I was like, no, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to deliberately leave it till like the day before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and go defeat Ganon and roll straight into Tears of the Kingdom.
Nice.
And I feel like that's how I'm going to pace that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, how are you feeling now you're sort of toward the end of this replay?
Well, I think I appreciated the fact that I did this playthrough in 2 big sections. So
Yeah.
earlier in the year, or middle of last year, I think I talked about the fact that I had started another playthrough. I just ran out of time, didn't have a chance, and then ADHD'd away from it for a few months. And then obviously, as more videos have been coming out for the new game, I'm like, I'll pick it up again. And one thing I have appreciated playing, like, the second half of this, like, I think I had like 90 shrines already done when I picked this back up. And so it was like only 30 more shrines to do, and then like any extra bits I wanted to do. And weirdly, I felt way more into like being complete about it, because I think the way I played through the first time was I have to play through before there's too many spoilers.
Yeah.
I want to experience this for myself, and it is the big dopamine right now, so num, give me all the thing.
Yeah.
And like many big RPGs, like when I played through Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's like, in the space of, let's say, a month,
Yeah.
I did like 200 plus hours
Yes.
in this, and at the end of it, I just wanted my life back a little bit.
I mean, I get...
As much fun as I had.
I understand that entirely.
And this time, I think, by virtue of not having done that, it's been quite nice to go, okay, well, what would be, like, nice things to, like, just do just because, without that being, like, I have to get this done to finish the game. And it was things like, well, completely upgrade one set of the like classic green tunic hat thing. The only one I have a complete one of right now is the Garb of the Wild, and that is because I keep forgetting to go through the amiibo cards.
Yes.
So like I've got bits of some things and bits of other things, but I don't have a complete set of anything.
I must say, I'm having fun running around in an incomplete set of something at the moment, which is, so I have 2/3 of the Fierce Dirty Link outfit.
Which
I don't. So I have the tunic and the legs. I don't have the head.
Those are the 2 I have too.
What I've been doing is I went and got the DLC Ravio headwear. And I've been running around in Fierce Deity outfit, but with Ravio's head, and it's adorable. I love it. I love thinking of a timeline where Link I got all the way to, like, collected every mask in Majora's Mask, went up to the moon, got the Majora's Mask, saw Majora, and went, that thing's fucking terrifying, I'm out of here, and went off to be Ravio. Like, that's the headcanon I'm playing with, and I'm having a great time.
That's amazing. I've just gone and done a bunch of little things.
Yeah.
While I was going around farming a bunch of stuff and trying to gather a few extra bits, someone had pointed me at what's the fishing village way on the south coast?
Oh, down in the sort of southeast, bottom right corner,
south of Faron?
Sort of near the
Faron.
sort of near the beach spiral in the bottom right.
Yeah. Beach spiral's
beach spiral's not there.
Right.
But I know what you mean.
Sort of
Yeah,
top right.
It's sort of near the sort of like tropically forest bit.
Yeah, far south on that coast, to the right of I was going to say Gerudo Town, but
No, it's south of the lab where you meet Pura. Just sort of south of there.
no.
Is it not south of there?
Wait, Pura. Oh, she's in Hateno, isn't she?
I
always think she's in Akala.
No,
Really?
yeah. So
Wait, she is in Akala, isn't she?
No, she's in Hateno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's way to the
Yeah.
south, sort of middle third in from the right. Enjoyed popping there, and it just happened to be night, and the Fang and Bone shop was there.
Yeah.
I was like, I have not interacted with this at all. I also have that side quest where someone was like, can you get me a picture of the owner of Fang and Bone?
Yeah.
So I did that.
I've been pottering around getting some of the DLC stuff that I hadn't gone and grabbed yet. I did the quest last night to go get the Xenoblade 2 Rex's gear.
Still haven't got that yet.
Which involves like going to certain places and looking at the sky in certain directions, and then a little shooting star comes down and a treasure chest appears. So that was fun.
I think I must have got it at some point, but I haven't got it on this run through yet.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying this replay.
Yes.
And I think there's a couple of factors that have all come together at once. Mm-hmm. So I tried replaying this at some point in the past on Master Mode.
Right.
And I don't remember much of that playthrough, but the big thing I remember is I tried to do the Trial of the Sword and couldn't get past the Trial of the Sword on Master Mode, and I got frustrated and I stopped playing.
Okay.
And I was like, this time, just not going to do that. So that helped as well, and I think a big part of it is just how long I have, like, left it and not played it, and just, like, taking some time away from it. But also part of it has just been coming back to this with a purpose, and I think having seen, like, the trailers and stuff for Tears of the Kingdom, and being in that point where I'm theory crafting about, like, ooh, what's going to happen next, it's been interesting playing through with an eye to, like, this is sort of implied in a trailer, is there anything that hints towards that in the game? Like, going and talking to the modern-day Rito champion, and meeting him and his kid, and seeing what conversations go on there toward the end of the game that are interesting in the context of the trailers we've seen, and that's been interesting. Master Mode I've really enjoyed. It made me play this game very differently. At the very least, like,
for a start, you weren't just randomly killing everything.
Yeah, so I wasn't randomly killing everything because, like, when you can't rely on whittling away at health, you have to, because for anyone who's not played Master Mode, enemies deal more damage, but more importantly, enemies have bigger health bars, and they regen health if you don't attack them for X amount of seconds.
Yeah.
Which means that, like, you can't do get a couple of hits in, back away, a couple of hits, back away, oh, my weapons are broken, I'll just, like, chuck bombs at them until they're dead. Those strategies are a lot harder to pull off. So I was a lot more selective about the fights I did.
Yeah.
I went straight to go get the Majora's Mask as quickly as I could, which is one of the DLC items that stops most enemies aggroing against you. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of flying from the towers onto, like, in Master Mode, there's a bunch of, like, platforms held up by Octorok balloons that have enemies on them, and they'll usually have a treasure chest. Mm-hmm. And those treasure chests tend to have really good items, so I was doing a lot of, like, swooping, get the item, run away. It made the world, like, intimidating and scary again, despite knowing all these things.
Yeah.
Particularly when I got later into the game and got to the point where there were, like, gold variants of enemies showing up. Yes. Gold Lionels kick my ass.
Yeah.
But beyond a certain point, once you get over a bit of a difficulty hurdle, it becomes more manageable. Honestly, like, beyond... The Great Plateau was the hardest part, because I had such limited access to, like, run to a place I shouldn't be, undetected, get a good thing and get out to hold me over for a while. The Great Plateau was hard, and the Champions Ballad rematches against the Blights, where you have to fight them with the gear and equipment you're given, not stuff that you can bring in yourself.
Yes.
Those were tricky, but the rest of it, like, hit a plateau and became a lot more manageable. And that's not to say I didn't die a lot, but, like, I had fun replaying it this way. It was a different kind of experience, and I had a good time.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Also, getting the motorcycle early enough in the game that I could use it was great.
I got it and I still haven't used it yet.
That's fair.
Although maybe now that I've done Fang and Bone and I've got one of everything from there, I might start using it.
Yeah, part of it for me has just been, because I've been using the amiibo, the big stack of amiibo every day,
Yes.
is that I have enough, like, I've just been using the cooking ingredients, being like, I've cooked 3 full pages of meals and it won't let me cook anything more. Chuck excess cooking ingredients in the back of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like it needs fuel, but, like, it's not been a deal breaker in me using it.
I mean, considering how rarely I actually bothered with a horse now, like, I think I spent most of that first half of my playthrough constantly on a horse.
Yeah.
But this time, or this part of it has been more going and doing very specific things. Like, working out what the paths of the dragons were so that I could farm every bit of them, because every stage of the upgrade for Garb of the Wild needs, like, 2 of each part of each of the each of the 4 dragons, each of the 3 dragons. So it's like, yeah, okay, I can't. Fine, I'll do the thing. So it was a lot of that to do, but I was like, I felt quite accomplished at the end of it. The main thing that harvesting has been an absolute pig for was fucking star fragments.
Yes.
It's like, yes, me with my complete lack of ability to focus on things needs to stand at the top of dueling peaks and watch the skies for nights and nights and nights.
Well, see, this is why so down at the stables at the bottom of Dueling Peaks, there is a man that will tell you what phase of the moon you're in. When it is a full moon, in my experience, every single full moon there is a star fragment.
Maybe there is, but I don't always notice them.
That's entirely fair. But I've been doing, like, okay, so once I know it's a full moon, try and get that star fragment and then go, like, count to 8 as I skip the nights and then go, okay, watch the thing again. And having to, like, really,
Yeah.
It's easy to miss, and occasionally you'll get to one and it'll just vanish because, like, oh, it hit a cliff, and once I arrived, it decided it didn't want to be on the cliff face it was on anymore. But I've been farming those.
Yeah, I had one where I was like, oh god, I've not seen one for like 6 nights, and I've been sat here watching. And I moved the camera around slightly, and I was like, "Oh, there's one on the floor down there," and I just hadn't noticed it land.
It's easily done.
It was slightly too close to the camera that I wasn't seeing the line.
I've had a few of those.
But yeah, I've been collecting what I can. It's been nice to sort of gather those few bits. I've got the full set from Fang and Bone now, so I've got my Dark Link cosplay.
Yeah.
I've got all my ridiculous.
I still need to finish getting my Dark Link cosplay. Yeah.
I got my ridiculous helmets. I mean, it helped that I had done a little bit of extra dragon farming.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, I only need 2 of each thing from each dragon, and I've got like 6 of like Farosh scales.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, no, horns, I think, which are like super valuable anyway. It's like, okay, I'll pop those in, plus like 150 odd bokoblin things, because I've not been avoiding killing stuff, so it wasn't really a problem for me.
Yeah, it's been...
The honey was, I think, the hardest part.
Yeah. I really like Breath of the Wild, despite, like, it has its little frustrations and its little quibbles, and there's little things that I'm like, there are things about other Zelda games that I love that aren't present here, but, like, this is not a Zelda game I want to come back to, like, constantly.
No.
But I've had a really good time coming back to this at the right time. And coming back and replaying has made me more excited for Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, absolutely. And I had this weird moment after I defeated Ganon the other night where I was just sitting there thinking, am I ever going to play through this again? Because from what I can tell, Tears of the Kingdom is all of this and more.
I'm curious. I don't know. And I don't think there's any way to know until we have our hands on it.
True.
But this game is very simple and to the point about what it is.
Yeah.
And I think even if Tears of the Kingdom is like this but more, I think there will still be something kind of magical to revisiting that first time you walk out the Shrine of Resurrection and just go, this is a world and I can just go wherever I want, and Ganon's over there and I can just head there if I want.
Yep.
And like that like intro of being told like Ganon's over there, go get him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that opening section, I think is something really special that like I might go back and just replay that like little crafted introduction.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Like we have a friend who got very into Breath of the Wild. Like he finished it like within a week, I think, of first picking it up.
Yeah.
He replayed it almost immediately, and then like did little challenges for like I think he's finished it on Master Mode and got all 900 Korok seeds, and like did little challenges of like, can I do the whole thing vegan? Can I do the whole thing without without taking a single hit?
Yeah,
before leaving the Great Plateau.
He got a surprising distance without taking any damage in that game. Like, he got real into it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for a new one of these to be coming out at a time where we can maybe be excited at the same time as him about it. I'm excited to share that with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been replaying Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yes.
Tears of the Kingdom, be out now. Be out sooner.
Soon.
Now.
Well, as you said the other day, we've only got like 2 weeks until it's out, so...
Yeah, like 2.5, 3 weeks, I think, at this point. It's pretty soon. Yeah.
Have you played anything else?
I played a few things this week. Let me pull up my list. So I've started playing a game called Wildfrost, which is a sort of cartoony-looking card-based roguelike.
Okay.
It is...
Like you Slay the Spire type stuff?
It's like you Slay the Spires. It's a little bit sort of almost like Inscription in that you're sort of like, here is your default starting deck, go do battle, then get a choice of which kind of upgrade to go for next, and you've got sort of branching paths, and you slightly get like upgrades that might be cards for your deck, or they might be something else, and then...
so you got a little bit of the CCG type stuff in there?
Up until you eventually fight sort of a boss at the end of the route. But as you're going through, you're completing objectives that are unlocking more things for you back at your sort of hometown between runs. The way this game is handled is really interesting. So your cards don't have any kind of like mana system or any kind of cost to play them. They come in two basic categories. You've got characters that you put out on the board, and they will have a health value, how much damage they do when they attack, maybe a special effect they have, and a number at the bottom. And the number at the bottom is how many turns they have to be out on the field before they do an attack. So stronger cards with higher damage numbers and better abilities will typically have to be out on the board where they could get attacked for more turns before they get to deal damage. And then the other category is, I guess you would call them like instants in Magic the Gathering. Stuff that you just use from your hand and it does its effect, and that's that. And that might be like, deal X amount of damage to a target that you pick, things like that. There's a bit of a sort of positioning system as well, where you can... you've got 2 rows of 3 slots of where you can put your characters, and things in, like, at the front of the row will take damage first, unless there's, like, something that, you know, has an effect to randomly hit something, or that, like, specifically targets not the front row, but the default is whatever you put at the front, that takes damage first. You have, like, a main character from your deck that you always start with out on the field who, if they die, no matter what else has happened, that's your losing condition, so you're trying to sort of keep them safe. And if the fight is against a group of monsters that has a boss, if you take out their boss, the minions will just run, like, you don't have to clear the rest of them out. And it is just about trying to do your little deck building mechanics. There's some really nice stuff in there for, like, trying to build up consistency. In particular... You have a hand of 6 cards at any given time. You can just ditch them and draw a new hand of 6 at any time. But if you do it before your hand is down to a certain size, that will be your turn to scrap your hand and draw a new one. But if you wait until your hand's down to, I think it's like 2 cards, you can ditch those 2, draw a full hand of 6, and that doesn't take your turn. So, like, you always have the option to deal with a bad hand, but it makes you weigh up that choice of, is this a bad enough hand that I want to have a nothing turn to cycle it?
Yeah.
You've got little mechanics like pendants that you can attach to your cards that are kind of like the sigils you could attach in Inscription that will add like an effect for this run to that card. Things like there's a little crown you can put on a card so like it will always be in your starting hand in future matches. You've got little pets that you can select a pet to come with you and they'll have little abilities and they'll be in your starting deck. There are factions that have different kinds of default starting decks and synergize with different kinds of cards. Like I just unlocked one that is to do with a lot of summons that don't have negative attributes if they're defeated. You just sort of summon in temporary ghostly apparitions. The first faction, I think, is to do with status effects, so it's a lot of like using elemental damages. It's really fun. It's very simple, and I have very quickly, like, it's gotten its hooks in me. It's colourful, it's charming. I like that at the end of every run, it shows you little meters filling up of, like, hey, you don't have to remember what the things are that will, like, unlock you new upgrades and new progress. We'll show you little bars filling up and saying, like, what they're filling up for. So you can see at the end of every run, like, oh, I'm quite close to unlocking something new, I'll make sure to do that mechanic next turn.
Okay.
If you've got a card out that's low on health, you don't have to let it die. You can optionally put it in the graveyard and to avoid it like being completely defeated. Because if it gets like taken down to exactly 0 health, the next battle you go into, they will have slightly lower than usual health and damage on the card because they got injured. So you can maybe retreat them early to avoid that. It's got a lot of really interesting mechanics.
Nice.
As someone that likes just, here is a deck, build it as you go and try and make a setup that'll get you past the boss and do your little roguelike, I'm really digging it.
Yay.
So yeah, that's Wildfrost, which is pretty fun. What about you? Are you playing anything else this week?
We played a bit more Final Girl together.
We did! Do you want to talk about what we played in Final Girl?
Yeah, we did knock at the door this week as well, didn't we?
This week? Which one's knock at the door?
Was the Home Invasion Cabin in the Woods one, or was that last week?
That was last week.
I couldn't remember if you played 2 this week or 1.
I think it was just the one this week.
Okay, in which case, we played the final one in the box set for Season 2, which is called Madness in the Dark.
Do we want to talk about the theming or the mechanics first? Because we have different opinions about the 2 aspects of it.
It seems like it's trying to be a couple of things weirdly jammed together.
Yes.
So the killer mechanic in this one is the killer is called Ratchet Lady.
Yeah.
Which sounds like they're trying to do Nurse Ratchet from the Nurse Ratchet show and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
But the visual representation of that character is very much Silent Hill, like the bound round the head with bandages so the character can't see, but also like the sort of like mechanical apparatus wrapped around them and in them. That is very Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
It's very Silent Hill, but all trying to be.
But narratively, it's definitely not trying to be Silent Hill.
No, which is weird because it feels like they've blown their chance to do a good Silent Hill thing. Unless they're planning to do fucking Pyramid Head alternative for Season 3, I don't know.
So, let's just get the setup of this out the way because it's a little not great. It wouldn't have taken much tweaking to be okay, but So it is a this horror scenario is set inside a mental health facility.
Well, okay, sorry. So, as we talked about Final Girl before, you have 2 parts to any box set. You have the killer and the location.
Yes.
You can mix and match the location with any, and the location wasn't really the problem.
No.
Because it's a space, the concept of there are pills lying around, and if you pick up the pills, you will be able to flip them over and see what colour they are. And there's this whole mechanic of, if you take 1 pill, it will do whatever it says on the list, and there's no side effects. If you mix 2 together, you're going to have to draw some side effect cards, and they might be really, really bad. If you mix 3 together, you will have to take a bunch of side effects, but you might get a really cool perk.
Yeah.
All the problematic stuff comes from the killer.
Yes, but I think also, like, I very much think of the killer and the setting together in this, because I think they are part of one picture of, like, a not great depiction. Again, I didn't set it up, so I don't know what stuff comes from which, but, yeah, so the setup is, that everyone's been locked in this facility and no one's been paying attention for a while, and the nurse has seen something terrible and she's gone evil, and she's converting residents of the mental health facility into it's maniacs is the term?
They use as maniacs. The overall game term that Final Girl uses for when killers have, like, assistants
is minions?
Is minions, because in the first season you had Geppetto and the puppets. And it was like, this is the thing that we might come back to. These are how these work. This is how this works, and this is how you can differentiate the two when it comes to card wording. And that's what's in the core rulebook. And this one, first of all, like, the first thing we were icked about was the choice of maniac.
Yeah. Because, like, we talked about this a bunch back and forth. Like, there is a way you could have done this setup that wouldn't have felt too iffy. Because, like, there are mechanics around taking the minion enemies and making them into, like, and making them into victims, and you do that by calming them down.
Yeah.
And at the core, there's nothing wrong with taking, like, the idea of, like, if this had been phrased as the nurse has, like, misled and manipulated patients in her care and, like, taken advantage of them or in some way misled them into acting on her behalf, and just by, like, calming them down and getting them, like, less, whipped up in a frenzy the way she's got them, they're okay again.
Yeah.
You put the onus there on the nurse being the villain.
Yes, like, you can very easily take a plot of, like, we want to do a thing about something going horribly wrong in a, like, 1950s built mental health institution, and we want to do something with that. Like, you can do that, and you can make it very much about medical malpractice or the kind of surgeons that you had very much at the time of this. Like, we have no oversight.
Yeah.
No one is coming to check on us, and we just want to experiment with shit.
There's little things like, if you make it clear that the patients, in the cases where you're fighting against them, if you make a clear distinction that it's not like, oh, they're off their meds and they're evil, and you made it something like the nurse has put them on meds that they shouldn't have been put on and that has negatively impacted them, as long as you keep framing it as mental health professional has done something bad, as opposed to, oh, it's the scary, evil, mentally ill people.
Yeah.
Like, and this doesn't make the effort it needs to.
No.
There. Like, the only thing I will praise it on, I said this at the time, was the calming mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the mechanic for getting the mental health patients to not be enemies and to instead be patients that you are saving is just to calm them down, is, like, I think that is good. It's a good thing in a real messy soup.
Yes. Like, that, and, like, as we said, like, I looked through all the cards from the Killer Terror deck, and there is so much that could just be slightly reworded.
Yeah.
There is stuff in the lore book for that, or you get a bit of a blurb at the beginning.
The narrative setup.
Yeah, like, that sort of stuff is very easily fixable with a sensitivity read.
Yes.
Like, and, I am somebody who had partly because of my own, like, complete lack of diagnosis for stuff as a child, was fascinated by any film with a mental health institution in it, and also terrified of the concept that I could end up in a facility like this.
Yeah.
And my horror in that always came from the concept of there is someone who has complete power over you, basically a forever parent.
Yes.
That you can't just get away from, who just goes, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I've decided that I know what's best for you when you're having, like, an episode that I don't approve of.
You have had all autonomy over being able to advocate for yourself taken away from you.
Exactly. Or, in the case of, like, some of those situations, oh, a family member signed me in here and now I can't leave.
Yeah. Like, that should always, I think, be the horror of those situations, as opposed to the people inside.
Yeah.
But, like, So we've said our piece about like the setting and the narrative stuff of this. Mechanically, it did feel interesting and distinct.
Yes.
Like I liked mechanically what having I like the minion mechanic of having your villain plus additional smaller targets you need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
I think that works well. I think that this location was well laid out in terms of how it forced us to play.
Yeah. I liked the mechanic with the pills, because even though we didn't have much chance to get right into it, really, because we were just like, we need to get on top of this while we have any sort of advantage, because we had a rough start, possibly the roughest start we've had.
We had a lot of like real botched rolls multiple turns in a row that really set us up bad at the start.
I think our first 3 or 4 major rolls of the game, and then were like complete botches.
Yeah, like not even the 3s or 4s that let you like ditch a couple of cards to force
it was
a success.
all 1s and 2s.
Yeah, we were on the back foot, and we did manage to get through this one, but like we were really having to make up time.
And in many ways, it felt like a bit more narratively satisfying.
Yeah, like for all the problems narratively with this one, we started in solitary confinement and then had a bit of a slow start when getting out into general population. It's a bit disorienting.
Yeah, understandably.
The dice told a narrative.
Yeah, I enjoy the way that, like, there was one point we were talking about where the killer would move to, because like the only rule of the game is the killer will target these people and will go the shortest distance. And the question we were asking is, would the killer move through a room that we know they will take 1 damage for? And given that this killer's mechanic is that they have no upper limit to their health, and tons of ways that they can just gain more health, it was just like, okay, would this killer go around, or would this killer go, nah, I've got so much health, I'm not even going to care to walk in here and just start killing people?
We've said this about Final Girl before, but I really like the rule in the rulebook that's like, if you're unsure how to determine between 2 things that should happen, what feels the most horror movie here? And yeah, walking into the room that is like, yeah, she's gonna take damage walking in there, but there's a whole lot more victims in there, and not the main character who has a weapon.
Yep.
Like, yeah, of course she's just gonna confidently stroll through, ignore the damage, and go for them.
Oh yeah.
But like, it's a neat. As a tiebreaker rule, I think it's surprisingly easy for as far as abstract tiebreakers go.
Yeah, there's 3 tiebreaker rules in this game. You can follow what is the most unfortunate for you, which is the one that a lot of Lovecraft-based games go for. What is gonna fuck you over the worst?
Yep.
Which, generally speaking, is gonna be killing you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Especially once they've already got their final power, and they're gonna be basically just constantly able to gain more health for every single kill. So technically that would be the worst thing. The other one is what seems the most like thematically appropriate, and the third one is what's the funniest.
Yeah.
Do you want to live in a horror comedy? Because sometimes it is just like, I think this is funny, but also relevantly bad. And that's been quite a fun thing to mess about with. And it is a shame, because like, of the whole box, I think this is the one that feels the biggest letdown. Partly because it wasn't Silent Hill enough for me, which I had hoped it was, and partly because it completely, like, it was, the language was just awful. It was bad, but like, and I have experienced worse, but like, it could have been, it could have avoided that so easily, and it didn't. So I'm kind of tempted to just go, once we've sleeved this, I might get some bits of paper and rewrite half the cards to just be less problematic.
I wouldn't blame you. I get it. So yeah,
that was Final Girl. There is only one more killer in that box that we haven't played with. That is the vignette expansion, Terror from Below, which is zombies, and they don't come with a location. They're just little. Basically, originally comes in like a little standard 60-card deck box. But yeah, in that is all the tarot cards and stuff you need for it, and little pop-out tokens. Yeah. It's quite a cool way to do a little tiny expansion to it. But yeah, that's the only set of killers we haven't played. We're gonna have to pick a location for them, but yeah, it was nice to give that a go. Have you played anything else?
Other than that, my week has been very Vampire Survivors and adjacent games specific.
Adjacent, you say?
Yeah, so very quickly, I finished the Vampire Survivors DLC. That's a real neat DLC.
Yeah.
There's more in it than I anticipated.
Right?
I think it does a good job of, like, catching you off guard with, like, aha, I think I've got a grasp on what's in here. Oh, okay, nope.
I guess I'm sitting here for at least an hour.
The little caterpillar character is fascinating.
Yes.
I made so much money and leveled up so fast with that character that the one gold rush I had, I could only see one digit of gold rush, and it was taking up most of the screen. I couldn't see my character anymore. I was at like level 800 20 minutes in. And just like getting like level. Wow. That character's like busted if you set them up right.
Yeah, I'm guessing you put the game killer in there.
That was even without the game killer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can do some funky stuff with that character.
I can imagine.
But I played 2 other not Vampire Survivors this week. Do you want to hear about like the more fleshed out one, or the one that, like, I'm surprised is as good as it is?
Tell me about the surprise entry.
Okay, so I've been playing Renfield, Bring Your Own Blood.
I was going to mention this to you, because I only heard about this existing just before dinner.
So, I heard about this last week, and I finally got around to checking this out. So this is... There is a Nick Cage movie called Renfield about Nicolas Cage being a vampire, and I don't really know what... My understanding is someone called Renfield is working for the vampire. He's just a regular guy trying to find blood for the vampire who he lives with. Right. It seems to be a sort of British-y humour comedy.
Vaguely What We Do in the Shadows.
A little bit, yeah. But they have released a tie-in video game that is a Vampire Survivors.
With a vampire in it?
Yeah. You are a vampire from what... Look, there's not much plot in this, but from what I can tell, you are a vampire trying to kill all of the people trying to vampire hunt you, or something to that effect.
Right.
So this is like £5, which is more expensive than the other Vampire Survivors games that are out now.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it's not expensive. It is in early access, and they are talking about like 6 months of updates. There's not a lot in here right now. There is one playable character. If there are others, I couldn't work out how to unlock them. And 3 stages, couldn't work out how to unlock stages 2 or 3. But it plays really well. It is a surprisingly competent Survivors type game. Rather than being like Vampire Survivors where you have like one big environment and you just go and go and go, it's a bit more like, almost like Core Keeper, the Playdate Vampire Survivors game I was talking about a while ago, where it is like enclosed environments and waves of enemies will come, and once you've killed all the enemies in a given space, there's a couple of exits, you pick one, go to the next room and continue your sort of onward journey. There's a bit more of like a directed structure of what you're trying to do. So much like Vampire Survivors, you have your default starting attack. It automatically happens every so often. You level up, you can either get new attacks or you can level up the ones you've got. They'll have different attack patterns, different speeds at which they go out. What you're ultimately trying to do is fight your way to a person who you get to make a choice about of whether you take them back to the vampire to feed on, or whether you rescue them and take them to safety and instead bring them a bunch of blood from people you've killed in the run. If you want to save the person, you have a harder time, whereas you will have a slightly easier time if you just go, yeah, no, I'm just going to take you back to the vampire. And the way that this choice plays out is, once you have gotten to this person and decided what you're going to do, you have 2 minutes to fight your way back to the start. And you're going to have to fight your way through a couple of rooms, defeat a boss, and get back out to the start. And that is not a lot of time. And if you choose to try and save the person, you have additional rooms you have to get through to get to the exit. So it's like your hard mode to try and do the morally right thing. I like the sort of having to do the escape under pressure thing, because it sort of forces you to... You know how in a lot of Vampire Survivors type games, you can make a build where it's I'm just going to sort of kite away, do damage, back away, do damage, and you can sort of perpetually keep yourself alive?
Yeah.
That will work right up until the escape sequence here, but then you're no, I need to have actually made a build where I can quickly kill things.
Yeah.
And where I can, like, rush into a room and be doing a lot of damage effectively and quickly. And it does change how you think about your build, and I appreciate that. As I said, there's not a lot of content in here right now, and they're promising content ongoing, and, like, yeah, we'll see if that pans out, but it is a surprisingly fun game that, like, feels good to play in the moment and feels distinct from the other Vampire Survivors games I've played. I played this for a good 2.5 hours today, and then had to stop myself and go, I got other stuff I gotta do today. That is more than I thought I would enjoy a licensed tie-in video game. And I see myself coming back to this one. It's pretty fun.
Nice.
I can't say whether, like, there's not enough here right now for me to ever say, like, if you're thinking of picking up one Survivors type game, make it this one. But if you're, like, a real fiend for these kind of games and you're like, yeah, I got $5 to burn and I could try another one. I mean, it's pretty fun. The other one I've been playing, and this is one that our mutual friend Steph recommended to me, was Gunsuit Guardians.
Oh, yes.
Which is a sort of bullet hell shooter Vampire Survivors game.
Okay.
Somewhat. So you are a little dude with a jetpack and various guns, and the default setup is not only will the guns, like, auto-fire and auto-reload on a timer, much like your standard Vampire Survivor weapons, they'll target enemies automatically. And if you want to manually aim, you just point with the right stick and you can do so, but generally, it will auto-target whatever is, like, most closely about to damage you and be a threat to, like, destroy things before they touch you.
Yeah. But you can also specifically target some things.
But you can automatically
like your bosses.
Yeah. Yes, bosses are the big place where this ends up happening, is you're like, you know, I'm backing away from the boss, I won't touch the stick, and I'll just let it auto-attack while I'm backing away. Cool, I've backed away, target directly at the boss, bam, 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 that sort of thing. The game makes it very clear how to get its sort of permanent resource upgrade system, which is there are question mark blocks, shoot them, and you get coins that are just for building things between runs. Be it unlocking new characters, new special moves that are on a cooldown, new starting weapons, that kind of thing. The game does a good job of making its weapons all feel very distinct and very, like, separate in how they feel to use, which is really nice. I generally think the auto-targeting is, like, pretty good at what it's trying to do. It is not as overwhelming as I expected, like, you know, when I hear, like, bullet hell version of Vampire Survivors. You still have the ability to sort of, like, kite away from things and sort of, like, back away and attack them as you're backing away and that sort of thing. The bosses are really fun. I've been really enjoying it as well. I've played 2 good new Survivors-y kind of games this week, and both of them have been real enjoyable.
Yay!
What about you? You played anything else this week?
Briefly, we played some Binding of Isaac 4 Souls with the Requiem expansion, which arrived recently.
We did.
Yeah. So, I like this game. I like this game a lot. But like most of the other Ed McMillan tabletop game that we've played, which is Tapeworm or Dick Knots if you have that version, it feels like a game that you want to get, like, a couple of people, some drinks, some snacks, and just, like, keep playing hands of this for the evening. It's that, like, poker for, like, nerds who don't want to play poker.
Yes.
And maybe have a bit more depth, but also still allow for things like, forming allegiances.
Yeah.
And doing deals with people. Maybe offering help to people if they've helped you in the past.
Fucking people over, doing silly bullshit.
Yeah, there's lots of, like, you can make a person re-roll a dice, and then they'll have to do that on their turn, and that might completely fuck them over.
It's a game that, like, keeps giving you opportunities to be like, yeah, you could do this to them.
Yeah.
And just, like, keep putting those in front of you as options.
So I'm just gonna leave this here, You could use this broken dice to fuck them over if you want.
I mean, look, if you do that, that's your choice if you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's your choice. There's a bunch of stuff from from Requiem. I don't know if they were just, like, Kickstarter exclusives, but there's, like, if you were a kid on the internet in the 2000s, you probably know a bunch of these characters. There's like Among Us characters, and there's like Salad Fingers is a character.
Yeah.
You spotted a couple of others that you recognise that I didn't know.
Yeah, there's
Spelunkies, I think, in there as a character.
Yeah, there's
Baba Is You.
Oh, Baba Is You is great.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of meme stuff. I think I'm fairly certain it's Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but I've never read that comic book. But I was like, that feels like a very Jonan Vasquez style character. But yeah, like I very much enjoy this game. I just think it needs to be played with a slightly bigger crowd that are willing to just keep playing hands and hands and hands of it.
Because the thing with it is, if you play it in 2-player, there's only one person at the table to fuck over.
Yes.
And it can feel mean-spirited to just pick on one person.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's multiple people at the table and you've got to sit and have that, who am I going to fuck over right now? And get to have that back and forth of everyone at the table going like, fuck them. No, don't fuck me over. Fuck them over.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it feels like it needs to be at its best.
Now, apparently there is a co-op mode that's been introduced that might be worth checking out at some point. But we haven't got round to that yet. But yes, do love the game, love the artwork, love all the extras from the new stuff. The fact that we've got a few bits from Tapeworm, because there were like some Kickstarter exclusive Tapeworm cards in that we've popped in there as well. There's room cards now. That's a whole new mechanic that didn't used to be there.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, and I like that when you get a kill on a creature, you can choose to change the room, and like, if there's a positive room on the table, do you maybe change it so that the other player doesn't get the nice benefit? And yeah, it was an interesting idea.
It was an interesting mechanic. We have also, I think it helps that we played with the extra bonus souls.
Yes.
Now, originally there were only 3 bonus souls, and they were like an optional extra game mode. And I think that helps keep the games a bit shorter.
Yes. So these are like optional objectives that everyone can see that are on the table, that are usually things that either like are fairly simple to aim for, like have this many cards in your hand, or are things like, put a counter on this every time a player dies. The 6th time that happens, the player who put the counter there gets this card. So it's things where it's like, you can both be at the point where it's like, there's 5 counters on there, either of us could do it. Like, very...
I might kill myself deliberately just to get it.
It's very, like, either of you has a chance to grab it at the last moment kind of objectives, which I think helps the pacing.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to play with those cards, and I think it might be interesting to play a bit more without them.
Yeah.
Because... technically, when you play the way we have been, it's like having a short-running Binding of Isaac. So we haven't had much chance to do those, like, ridiculous combos of tons of different, like, treasures and stuff that you've acquired over a long period of time. But I think that sort of fast-paced, short hands thing would be quite good for large groups.
Agreed, yeah.
But mostly just a case of, like, we've got a bunch of new cards, would like to get an opportunity to like see a bunch of stuff. Like, we didn't even shuffle after our second hand because there are so many cards in those decks.
Oh god, yeah, no, there is so much game in there we will take forever to see.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm very much enjoying that. I hope we get to play it with a slightly bigger crowd at some point.
Yeah.
The problem is we have largely locked up all of our gaming groups with legacy games.
We have.
But we shall see.
But I mean, we like legacy games.
Oh yeah, but maybe we need a third gaming group.
We need a non-legacy gaming group.
Yeah, maybe. What about you? Have you played anything else?
I think that's it for stuff I've played this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
So, are you ready? Ready for the game?
I mean, I don't know. I gotta run you through some maths. I've been trying to work something out.
Right.
So, right now, there's 24 days, I think, until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, right?
Something like
Something
that,
like that? Cool. So, I looked at how long to beat for how long, roughly, just to, like, mainline all of the Zelda games are.
Right.
So, you got, like, 8 hours for The Legend of Zelda.
That seems underestimating, but sure.
10 hours for Zelda 2.
Again, couldn't tell you for that one.
15 hours for A Link to the Past.
I can do that in about 2.
15 hours for Link's Awakening.
I think we did that in one afternoon once.
About 30 hours for Ages and Seasons.
Yeah, but it's going to feel like longer.
15 hours for Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
About the same for Minish Cap and for Phantom Hourglass.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe 20 hours for Majora.
Yeah, that can get a bit nitty-gritty
Yeah.
if you want to do everything.
20 hours for Spirit Tracks.
Maybe I never managed to get it to finish.
25 for Ocarina.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
the child
maybe.
and then the adult. Like, it's a longer game than you
Yeah.
remember it being.
I played it within the last decade, so...
35 hours for Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I can see that.
40 for Skyward Sword.
It's going to feel like more
And
for
then,
me
like-
and less for you.
Yeah, and then, like, somewhere between 50 and 100 hours for, like, Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity each. Like,
Are we talking about full completion?
let's say, like, 50
'Cause I
hours.
never finished
I'm going to
those.
say, like, 50 hours to, like, mainline through.
Did we do Wind Waker? Like, I
Wind
swear I finished that in
Waker?
2 sittings.
I think, Wind Waker... Oh, yeah, Wind Waker about 30 hours.
Yeah, I
So-
swear I've done that in about 2 sittings,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure wasn't 30 hours.
So, look, these are the numbers the internet gave me. So, I did the maths. Let's say 393 hours, I could replay all of the Legend of Zelda series.
Get all of that lore.
Yeah,
Suck
get
it
it all fresh in my mind before Tears of the Kingdom. 393 hours is 16.3 days,
Okay.
which is like, I could get 8 hours of sleep a night and still have enough hours just about to replay them all. So, what I'm saying is...
I don't need to edit accessibility next week.
Yeah, I'm sorry if, like, I don't do anything else, but, like, I do want to have this all fresh in my mind before it comes out. I'll tell you if there's anything, like, plot relevant.
Cool. I'll bring you snackies.
I'm gonna need them. My eyes are gonna be very tired.
Okay, I love you. If you need anything, let me
I
know.
love you too. I'm very excited for Tears of the Kingdom!
Same. But I have a day job.
This is my job now!
I wish it was mine.
Oh, hi, I see you've all got set up already.
Yeah, they're all in there. Been in there a while, actually.
Okay, cool. I'll hit the button and chat.
Oh
through-
no, yeah.
Are they good in there?
I mean, you know about some blood on the swivel chair?
I mean, look, I'm guessing from context they're a metal band.
Oh yeah. They're like one of the most brutal metal bands. Like,
mean-
they are illegal in 49 states.
Look, I can tell that they're pretty hardcore because I can't read the logo on their shirt. I think that's a logo. It might just be scribbles.
It might be scribbles, it might be a custard stain, I don't know. I can't actually tell if that's their merch or not, but
Yeah.
frankly, I'm too afraid to ask. I mean, look at them, look at the...
Yeah.
I mean, those are some... That's a lot of tattoos, there's...
I mean, it is.
There's some facial stuff in there, there's some... I'm pretty sure those are dental modifications. Not one single piece tongue in the entire room.
Yeah.
Well, that's so much leather. I don't think I've ever seen that much leather. Those pauldrons, that's World of Warcraft level pauldrons.
Yeah. Do I need to, like, know any, like, you've been in here all day. Like, do I need to know anything before I, like, get started?
I mean, yeah, they said absolutely do not touch that slider. That is set how they wanted it.
Okay.
I have no control over that. I've just put some tape over it so
Okay.
they won't do the thing
Yeah.
automatically. And I think in the next couple of minutes, the kittens should be arriving.
The what?
Yeah, there's something on their rider that they're gonna have like a crate of kittens delivered to the studio. I'm not sure how. I mean, you know.
I might have to, like, find a curtain to put over the window because I really don't want to know.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably. Yeah, I think that's the
It's
door.
here. Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, just to let you know, the special delivery you requested has arrived. Okay. I wish me luck.
Yeah, I'm wishing you luck.
Okay. Okay, I'll be honest, I just legged it out of there. But,
Yeah.
oh, they're gesticulating.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah.
Hey, thanks for the kittens.
Yeah, they're all good? Is that, got everything you need in there?
You want to come in too?
Us come in, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we don't hog all the kittens.
you don't wanna hog all the kittens.
Yeah, we got plenty of kittens. There's like a dozen kittens in here, and there's only like 5 of us. You should come in and see the kittens.
Okay, I don't wanna upset them, I'm sorry.
Here, play with the kittens. They're super fluffy. I've called this one Mr. Fluffies.
Okay.
Look at the kittens. The kittens are so soft.
That they are.
You have to be gentle with the kittens. If you hurt the kittens, I will break you in half.
I don't doubt that.
Little soft friend.
So, what have you put in your eyes?
I'm going to be honest, it's mainly been Legend of Zelda theory videos and lore videos.
Not gonna deny, watched a bunch of those, watched a lot of Zeltec.
It's been a lot of, it's a lot of Zeltec, a lot of, just a lot of Zelda content and being like, yeah, I like Zelda.
Saturate me with Zelda, please.
Yeah, I'm at the stage that I get to with things where it's like the thing that is one of my hyperfixations is about a month away.
Mm-hmm.
My entire personality is going to be the fact I like this thing for a while, so like be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like the month before Pokemon came out was very much this for Pokemon.
But except this time, I understand what's happening.
Yeah. So a couple of things that weren't just like endless Zeltec videos. We watched the best side quest in Zelda history by Mr. Dr. Boy.
Mr. Dr. Boy.
Mr. Dr. Boy on YouTube, which was a video that was kind of about the Anju and Cafe quest in Majora's Mask,
Yeah.
but sort of more about how a lot of the elements that like float around the edges of that quest and the things that are completely optional to learn about that story that are not part of like the core path to completing it, and how much story there is that you might just miss because of the way that that game just lets story happen, and whether you see it or not is up to you. It's an interesting little take. I also watched a video called Life as a Bokoblin, a Zelda nature documentary.
I keep seeing this recommended, and I haven't got around to watching it yet.
Yeah, so this is by Monster Maze on YouTube, and it is like a 20-minute documentary that I can best describe as, what if, in the Breath of the Wild universe, there was a Jane Goodall-style documentary narrated by David Attenborough?
Okay.
And it's basically, we put Link in the Bokoblin mask that makes Bokoblins seem like a Bokoblin and him act like a Bokoblin, and just had him hang out around Bokoblin camps for a while and make a whole little story about his growing, like, being accepted into the group of Bokoblins over time. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's basically the journey of, here is a group of Bokoblins, they don't really use names for each other, so we're gonna give them names to make it easier to talk about them, and the story of, like, the first day that this strange new Bokoblin shows up at the Bokoblin camp, and Bokoblins from one camp don't usually interact with ones from another, they stay in their own territories. The first few nights Link is made to sleep, like, not near the campfire. Like, the Bokoblins are like, no, you sleep over there. And eventually being invited out on, like, a hunting party with the Bokoblins. It's a fascinating little story that was told through Attenborough-style documentary about someone being like, I must learn to live with the Bokoblins if I am to understand the Bokoblins. They have accepted me as one of their own. It's a very well put together 20-minute little short story that someone clearly had a lot of fun with. I recommend that. What about you? What have you been watching?
Mainly the same as you. Eventually we will get to the end of these seasons and be able to talk about them. We've watched more Mandalorian and more Picard, and it would be absolutely wrong to spoil anything about this week's Picard.
Yeah, Picard in particular, like, oh my fucking god.
Where do you go from there?
I cannot fathom a world in which that is a overcomable situation that is occurring.
Well, eventually we'll get around to talking about it, but spoilers, sorry. But that's pretty much it. I've watched a lot of TikTok. Like days worth of TikTok.
Yeah.
And my traditional amount of Final Fantasy XIV footage as I edit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not been a big watched week for me. I've mostly been playing stuff.
Yeah.
I think we had the Oxventure last couple of episodes of the dinosaur Extinction.
Yep.
Campaign. We watched like the two most recent episodes of that and the live show that happened in between the last few.
I can rattle through some of the Zelda videos that I've had on in the week just to go, this is a spattering of the things I've been watching that have been good.
Oh, we watched the one of No Runes.
Yes.
Going through all the shrines?
Trying to go through all 120 shrines in Breath of the Wild without using any of the Sheikah Slate runes, and discovering new tech on how to do that in the process. I'm about halfway through Who Are the Zonai, a Breath of the Wild documentary by Nintendo Black Crisis. I think you watched this, and also separately I've watched this, ranking every Breath of the Wild shrine from worst to best by Zeltic. I'm sure there's a few others in here. Zeltic's recap of the story of Age of Calamity and Skyward Sword. More Zeltic videos, The Mystery of the Breath of the Wild's Forgotten Temple. I could keep going. It's a lot of Zeltic, really. If you're in the mood we're in, Zeltic makes very good, I'm just gonna pour Zelda information into my head videos.
Right.
So yeah, that's basically everything I've watched this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
Laura, we've got a new sponsor.
Tell me about our new sponsor.
Yeah, well, do you like getting hype for game coming?
I do like getting hype for game coming.
Do you like consuming all of the content that is possible?
Look, at this point, the internet's made a lot of content about video game I'm excited for, but I feel like I'm running out of content about video game I'm excited for.
Well, boy, do we have the correct and perfect sponsor for you.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Check out randomtheorygenerator.lol.net.
Tell me more.
Are you stuck waiting for a new game to release?
Yep.
Are you struggling to fill the obsessive hours in the day leading up to that point?
I am, yes.
This algorithm will automatically generate theories about the plot based on a loose amalgamation of current internet conspiracy theory message board posts.
Oh, let me boot this up now. Okay, so Tears of the Kingdom, I'll just type that in there. Okay, theories. Ganondorf is actually secretly Zelda from a different timeline split. They're both the same character at different points in time.
I knew it.
Called it.
Called it from space.
Yeah, I'm having a look through here. Epona is secretly harboring the spirit of Majora's Mask. And
I knew it.
That's why Epona keeps being reborn, Epona's got the magic of Majora's Mask, causing a cycle of rebirth.
The little white robot from Age of Calamity is actually the brain that's inside the Master Cycle Zero.
Oh, I knew it. Right. Called it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Let's look at one last one. The reason you can't see the islands in the sky in Tears of the Kingdom when you're playing Breath of the Wild is just because there's a big one-way mirror around Hyrule.
It's true, and everyone knows Link can't look up.
Yeah, Link can't look up. It's true. Yeah. Well, what interesting theories I now have to mull over.
You got so many things to mull. That's randomtheorygenerator.lol.net. Enter the code, please give me more hints about Breath of the Wild, 257, and you'll get that, probably. Yeah. Maybe there'll be a whole conspiracy about 257 now.
That's how many full-size dungeons
Full-size
there'll
dungeons.
be.
There we go. There's a whole... there's more things to theorize. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi.
So, I've been keeping an eye on the internet.
Right. Yeah.
And,
you know.
Keeping an eye out for people making content about our games.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been watching some people making some Call of Duty content.
Right.
Very specifically, I've been noticing some fans have been modding our games.
Right.
Yeah.
Like taking the clothes off. The
usual
stuff.
No, like adding in new features that we didn't put in the game.
Oh, features, right? Yeah,
like,
big.
Oh, no. Like, adding new modes, new, campaign levels, adding new stuff to our game that's, keeping the community, engaged and excited and reinvigorated.
Right, but that's... Which Call of Duty is that? This year's version?
That's this year's Call of Duty.
Right. So people are still playing this year's current Call of Duty.
Yeah, but they're not doing it how we want them to do it.
Yeah, so I don't imagine they're gonna need DLC.
Well, see, that's the fear, is if they've, if they're playing...
They should be bored right now.
If they're playing additional content that they're getting for free, why would they pay for our additional content?
Right.
So Ignore the fact that, people are still talking about and playing Call of Duty. That doesn't matter. We need to sue the asses out of these people for... How dare they add things that make our game more fun than it currently is?
Right?
For no money. How dare they?
Exactly. How are we supposed to create a need for paid content if they are just giving it away for free?
If we allow the...
Who's paying them for this?
Exactly. If we allow the precedent that the game can just, be made more fun, then, what are we going to do when someone turns around and takes out all of the, changes the leveling curve so you don't have to grind for forever if you don't want to pay for the microtransactions?
We paid very smart mathematicians to work out how to make that as grindy as possible.
Exactly, and if they're going to step in and just make the game fun without having to spend money, then we need to make sure they never see another penny of income or the outside of a jail cell ever.
Or the light of day.
I mean, look. If will the legal team let us get assassins in for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. No assassins, but legal. You've got to find a way to deal with them that is where we're never gonna have to think about them again.
I think that's probably a yes.
Legal or I think fucking geniuses. I mean, the amount of stuff they've gotten done, they're fucking geniuses.
Yeah. Maybe. So, ears, what went in the ears?
I put some new bits of music in my ears
Tell
this
us about
week.
the ear, friends.
So I've listened to 4 new songs this week. One's called Till We're Gone by Electric Century, which is a really interesting, upbeat synth rock track with lyrics that are very much about, the world telling you no, there's no chance of success or survival, and you just being like, no, and ploughing forward in the face of being told you have to stop and give up, and just be like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going, though. I listened to a track called Love Is Dead, I listened to a track called Love Is Dead and We Killed Her by Dollskin. It's a very grand... I could fight the world to this kind of soundtrack, femme rock song, with a lot of, interesting, genre and pacing mix-ups about revenge against a past lover who's wronged someone. I listened to a track called You're Dead / Vampire Scar by We Are the Union, which is just a ska track about surviving by keeping your head down and doing what's expected of you, that uses fast, upbeat, danceable ska to contrast its, I would say, lyrical cynicism. And the last one I listened to that was pretty interesting was a track called Good Morning Sunshine by The Narcissist Cookbook, which is a sort of high-speed folk punk track about someone just, berating themselves into getting up, having a shower and doing basic self-care on a day where they really don't feel up to it. And, doing the you don't have to like it, you just have to get over those, one small step at a time, and you will feel better for it. I know you don't feel like you'll feel better for it, but you'll feel better for it, sort of pushing yourself through the hard days. So those are some new bits of music I listened to this week. What about you? You listened to anything this week?
I haven't listened to anything new, I'm afraid. I felt a need to listen to some Contrast, which I've not listened to for a while.
Yeah?
Just the classics, because I don't know how much new music they've released. I haven't seen anything from them for a while, but then I haven't looked for a while.
Yeah.
So, but I know last time I looked it had been a while since they made anything, but it was, the ones I listened to a lot. Bomba, Hey DJ, It's Propaganda, Dance, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta listen to Dance. It's a
listen
great
to
track.
Dance.
But yeah, not super big on listening stuff. I haven't had time. I've been playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Weirdly, having spent quite a lot of time standing at the top of dueling peaks, waiting for stars to fall, just listening to that sort of nice, quiet, ambient, occasional little plinks and then occasional little leitmotifs and little bits here and there, but not really a full track of anything.
Yeah.
It's quite atmospheric as the winds howl around you, because it's bloody cold up there.
That it is.
But it's nice to sort of sit in that area. It's also one of the few places that doesn't get thunder, so it's nice to just stay for a while.
Yeah.
Although I have recently discovered the joy of having a slightly upgraded rubber suit
Yes.
and wandering around in lightning storms fighting people with my sword that occasionally just draws massive amounts of lightning damage.
That can be fun.
So get closer! Come on, get closer to me! I dare you!
Yeah.
But that's been quite fun. But yeah, that's really all I've managed to listen to this week.
Yeah. Well then, time for this.
Hi there, friends. We're going to talk to you today about some cool pro gaming tips. You come to me for all the best gaming tips, and I have the ultimate. I've been saving this one up, but it is the 5-year anniversary of the channel. We're here to celebrate 100 million subscribers on the channel across every possible platform. We're so glad to be revealing to you today the ultimate gamer secret, the way I have won all of the competitions, the way I have won all of the speedruns, the way I have got to the top of the class at ranked competitive matches. This is the ultimate gamer strat that you do not want to miss out on. So, okay, you're playing a game. You got your controller, you got your headset. When you get to a part that is really, really complicated, what you're gonna need to do is you're just gonna take your controller, you're gonna take your back, right, and you're gonna sit up. But sitting up isn't enough. You're gonna lean forward, and that's when the magic happens.
Hey, you've got misophonia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you like the whole horror genre. You're a big fan of like the Magnus Archives and the SCP stuff.
Yeah, I do enjoy your horror narratives.
I got the perfect horror podcast for you.
Okay.
Right, it is specifically for people with misophonia, and it's just like really fucking dark and frankly terrifying.
Okay.
So basically what it is, right, it's this chef guy, and he is constantly haunted by these horrifying eldritch nightmares. And he's always talking, like, basically just recites these tales as he's basically working in the kitchen, and he's like talking about the fact that like the horrors that come to him and the unspeakable things that he has to witness every night in his dreams, and sometimes he's not sure what's real and what's not, and sometimes when he initially wakes up it feels like it's not quite reality. And all of this is while he's standing there just stirring a pot of macaroni and cheese.
Oh god. Oh no!
Like, it's just really just constant squelching.
No,
this.
thank you. Nope.
But I thought you liked horror.
That's a little too horrific for me.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Brochure Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Larry.
Right, Merrick, how you doing?
Oh, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm physically and emotionally exhausted, although, I feel that like, there are a lot of communities right now that are in far worse situations. Are you doing alright, mate?
About the same. I've been watching a bunch of the continuing
Rise of fascism.
Yeah, specifically the attempts at new legislation, particularly in the US, against trans people, that's taking another step along a certain road.
Yeah.
The number of laws that have started trying to, thankfully so far unsuccessfully, but we'll see, trying to criminalise transition for trans people regardless of age.
Yeah.
It's no longer the protect the kids. Kids aren't old enough to know about, to understand what they're consenting to.
Yeah.
It's no longer even the sort of moved goalpost of like, what bits of your brain haven't developed till 25, so you got to wait till then. The end goal was always very clearly to stop trans people
Existing.
being able to legally be recognised and or get access to the care they need.
Yeah.
And, the mask is just really coming off. It's heading where we always knew it was heading, which is children were a wedge to get you to get allies or, get people.
Oh, it's always the thing of
Yeah.
the children's, try and get...
to get people on board with it so that then they could get rid of all trans people.
Yeah.
And it really is a moment where, like, we need allies to really, like, stop and pay attention to what's going on, because, like, yeah. Any time a transphobe tells you it's about protecting kids from making irreversible decisions, that is them playing you like a fiddle. You know, you've got to see what they are actually working towards, and
even the ones that genuinely believe that are being manipulated by ones who have far more sinister concerns. You know, these we're seeing that the Nazis are actually showing up to a lot of these groups now, and that they're not hiding what they are when they do so. And
I mean, the number of the anti-trans lot who will just go take happy smiley selfies with the Nazis at things like Posey Parker's thing a while back. It is terrifying, the number of the anti-trans lot who will be like, well, you know, I may not agree with the Nazis, but at least they've got our backs on this. And I'm like, that is never a thing you should ever be saying. You should never be excited that the Nazis agree with you on something.
No, because it means that, well, I mean, we know that fascism is hungry and will ravenously eat everything it can if it is allowed to grow. But absolutely has to be stamped out at the first possible opportunity, and sadly I think we are losing already a lot of these first possible opportunities because people are just too willing to let their biases and their bigotry and the manipulation by the press. I mean, gosh, have you seen the constant front covers of the fucking Mail this week? It's absolutely obscene. You know, this country isn't very much better than America, I'll be honest, mate. But
but
it's
we need
a terrifying time, and we genuinely need allies or anyone who would dare to call themselves an ally to actually step up and just do something really. Really make themselves heard as much as these fascists are doing so.
Exactly.
Where's the young mate?
Oh, yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug. Right, I think I'm going to pop the kettle on.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Yes?
what do you do when you're not playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and waiting for Breath of the Wild 2 Tears of the Kingdom to happen?
I mean, not a lot, honestly.
No.
But I mean, I do some other
You
things.
do lots of things.
Yeah, you can find the other things I do at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere on the internet, because I've got that good unified branding. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. Wherever there's usernames, I'm probably at Laura K. Buzz on those. The big thing to look out for this week, I've been talking a bit about this on Twitter, and people have sort of got a rumbling this is coming, is at some point this week there will probably be a formal announcement of what I'm putting together for, let's call it E3 week, because, you know, that's what everyone's going to refer to it as.
I thought we were calling it Summer Games Fest week now that E3 is cancelled.
June video game week.
Gaming
adverts week. I've been working really hard on something for that.
Yeah, you have.
I think I've said the name out there. Keep an eye out for information about the Accessibility Summer Showcase, which I am putting my heart and soul into, and I'm excited to imminently be telling people properly about and getting the ball rolling on.
I'm helping.
Yeah. So yeah, Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. What about you?
I don't have unified branding. That stuff's hard to come by, especially when you got to the internet and content creation as late as I did. You can find me at linktree.ee/Janiac. That's Linktree, and I'm Janiac. Janeaiac. You can find music and things I've written and all sorts of other stuff, t-shirts I've designed, including the butts one. No one likes the butts one.
I like the
you
butts
own the
one.
butts one.
Yeah, I do.
I think you're the only person I know that owns a butts one. It's a picture of Laura jumping out of a butt saying, "Butts!" There's slightly more designed shirts, but that one's just good, silly fun. Yeah, there's a bunch of my stuff. You can help me justify a 76-hour work week over at patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. And yeah, as little as $1 a month helps me justify a 76-hour work week. You could be the person that gets me to 30 Patreons, and who knows, by the end of the year, I would love to hit 50. If that is on the cards, that would be great. Who knows, maybe I will start making enough to make this a full-time thing. That is the dream. I imagine if I could work 76 hours of just content creation. Yeah, that would be great. Well, Laura, I think that's everything for me.
I think so.
Yeah, will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.